अगर आपने खाना ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर किया है तो आई एम श्योर इस कंपनी का नाम डेफिनेटली सुना होगा. आई नो यू ऑलरेडी गेस्ड इट व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट टुडे. Well, as soon as the news had come out in the market that this company is going for IPO, people had gone crazy. Yes, we are going to talk about the mega Indian startup, the food tech giant Zomato. SEBI has already accepted their offer and they would be coming with IPO mostly by end of July. Right from the time they had filed a draft red herring prospectus with SEBI, a number of questions had been floating in the market, and the most important of all, whether we should be investing this in this IPO or not. But to reach to that conclusion, we need to understand lot of aspects. Hi, this is Priyal Sarvaiya. Today we are going to discuss about what is the business of Zomato, what is their business model, the revenue model, who are the competitors, what is their strength and weaknesses, what is the investor perspective, and last but not the least, what is my opinion on the same. So let's begin with understanding the business and revenue model. When Zomato started, it just started as a restaurant discovery partner. However, over a period of time, they have expanded their business lines. Today, one of the major sources through which they earn revenue is the restaurant partners can register themselves on the Zomato platform. In turn, it helps them to improve their visibility. For the said services, Zomato charges a premium for the same. As of 31st December 2020, there were 350,000 restaurant partners which were registered on the Zomato platform. Apart from this, Zomato also deals into Pro membership, that is Zomato Gold. Well, the customer gets a service in such a way that on their dine out as well as delivery options, they get additional discounts which may go up to around 30 to 40%. As of 31st December 2020, there were 140,000 members which were registered for the said program. Apart from this, the major source of their revenue comes from the commission which they charge from the restaurant partners and the delivery charges which they collect from customers like us. Apart from this, Zomato also has a subsidiary called Hyperpure. Well, Hyperpure deals into farm to fork supplies. That means they supply the raw material and kitchen supplies to their restaurant partners. This business was started in the year 2019 and as of now they have supplied to around 6,000 restaurant partners. Now let's understand the financials. If we see, since the company started its inception, the revenue has consistently gone up. Specifically, if we compare FY19 with FY18, the revenue has gone up by almost 181%. And again in the subsequent year, it has gone up by 98%, which is a great sign. But against the same, the expenses in FY19 have gone up by 507%, which is way too much. The major expenses are pertaining to advertisement, brand promotion, and customer acquisition. However, the good part is, in the subsequent year, the expenses have increased by 38%. So it could control its expenditure. But an important aspect which is to be noted over here is, considering the kind of competition in the market, it is important to note if the company has to incur an additional expense on advertisement and brand promotion, it may directly impact its profitability. Now, let's see the financials for the first 9 months of FY21. In the first quarter, the business was at its all-time low since its inception. However, in the third quarter, the business was at its all-time high. Why? Because we all were tired of cooking at home, and as soon as the norms got lighter, we all started ordering food online. and Zomato could get its momentum back. The way overall market is reviving, I'm sure Zomato would be able to continue with the same momentum. If we see overall comparison of FY21 with FY20, the revenue has certainly gone down, and that is mainly because of the COVID impact. Now, let's understand the unit economics. What do I mean by unit economics? It is basically per order average profit or loss. Till FY20, Zomato was incurring a loss of rupees 30 per order. However, if we see the first 9 months of FY21, Zomato started making a profit of rupees 22.5 per order. This is a good point. However, an important aspect to be considered over here is till how long the company would be able to maintain the same unit economics, considering the market share and the competitive landscape. Now, let's move on to the overall parameters. If we see the overall parameters which can impact Zomato business is the use of internet and smartphone. In India, as of now, around 60 crore people have an access to internet, but the shocking percentages, only 23% people are using it for online purchases or online transactions. However, the speed at which internet and smartphone penetration is increasing in India, I'm sure it is going to have a very positive impact on the Zomato business. Now let's also specifically understand the food market of India. It is mainly divided into 3 parts: dine-outs, takeaways and delivery options. As per CLSA, the food delivery business is right now valued at $3.5 billion. By 2026, it is expected to reach $11 billion. That means there is a very huge potential which is to be tapped in the Indian market. Now, let's move on to understand who are the major shareholders in Zomato. So, as on the date of filing draft red herring prospectus, one of the major stakeholder was Info Edge, which has around 18.68% stake. Who is Info Edge? The same company which has its stake in Naukri.com, 99acres, Jeevansathi.com and many such technology based companies. Apart from that, 9% is held by Uber and around 16.5% is held by 2 group companies of Alibaba. 5.5% stake is held by the founder of Zomato, Mr. Deepinder Goyal, and rest of the stake is owned by either institutional investors, venture capitalist firms and employees. While out of total 8,250 crore prospectus which was submitted, 7,500 crore was to be issued as a fresh issue and 750 crore was for offer for sale. What is offer for sale? That means basically an existing shareholder is liquidating its stake. However, just before few days when SEBI gave its approval, the offer for sale amount has been reduced from 750 crores to 375 crores. So, Info Edge, which had earlier asked for 750 crore, is now going for only 375 crore of OFS. Where these funds would be used, it would be mainly used towards the expansion of the business, that is for both organic and inorganic business activities and even for general corporate purposes. Some of the global investors like T. Rowe Price, Fidelity Investments and Capital Group have expressed their interest in Zomato. There is a possibility that it could go for a private placement of around 1500 crore. Let's come to the final. So till now, we have understood the overall aspect of the Zomato business. Now, the question with which we started, whether we should be investing in this IPO or not. Well, I would call it as a high risk, high return IPO. पर कहते हैं ना, रिस्क है तो इश्क है. Why am I calling it as a high risk IPO? The reason being, since the company started, it has been incurring losses. Till now, there were only two players in the food tech market, that is Zomato and Swiggy. However, one more big player is coming in the market. In fact, it has already come in the market. Amazon. Yes, the big daddy Amazon is also coming in food delivery business. They have already started their operations in Bangalore. Right now, they are majorly supplying it to their employees, Amazon Prime members, and couple of other pin codes in Bangalore. Soon, they have plans to expand in other cities as well. And we all know one fact that Amazon has already marked its presence in the delivery business. So only time will say that how this competition works out. But because of this, Zomato might have to keep incurring a huge amount on advertisement, brand promotions and customer acquisition, which can impact its profitability. Apart from this, we do not have any comparatives like the current PE, forward PE or trailing PE or industry PE, with which we can derive some more conclusion. And also, as it's a foreign owned and controlled entity, it would not be able to take advantages of certain government policies. But then why I'm calling it as a high reward IPO? It is because of the fact that majority of the tech companies which we know today, when they started, they had been incurring losses. In fact, till the time they went for IPO, they had been incurring losses. Over a period of time, they became profit-making companies and achieved great valuations. Apart from that, we all know one fact, that Zomato is a fundamentally very strong company. Also, it has a very promising business model. If we see the food service market in India, it has got very bright prospects. Right now, Zomato's business is valued at around $5.4 billion. Before 3 months, when the IPO was filed with SEBI, it was expected that while it would come to public, the valuation would almost increase to $8 billion. While finally the SEBI has accepted the proposal, it is being talked in the market that Zomato might be valued at $10 billion, which is a big number. One more aspect to be considered over here is, while Zomato might be valued at $10 billion, if we see similar companies in other developed economies, like in US, the company called DoorDash has got a valuation of $50 billion. And in China, Meituo has got a valuation of $100 billion. That means there is a huge potential which is to be tapped in the Indian market. Apart from that, one of the greatest points is it is a no debt company. Also, if we see from the existing stakeholder, only one of the stakeholders is liquidating its stake, and that is also by just merely 1 or 2%, which is a good sign. So now, what should we do? I would suggest that a part of your portfolio which you have allocated for your high risk part, you can allocate the same for the said IPO. Further, we would be able to comment once the IPO gets listed that whether we should increase a part of our portfolio or maybe decrease. If you have liked the video, don't forget to subscribe and forward it to your friends and families. Well, all my videos are purely for educational purpose and I do not recommend whether to buy or whether to invest or not. Thank you very much.